5 was my graph again. On this one, 5 was actually a horizontal line. And you could pick two ordered pairs and do just fine with that, and we'll do that in a minute. But remember that a horizontal line has zero slope. There is no steepness whatsoever to that line. So now to pick some ordered pairs, just in case you did it that way. I am going to choose, let's see, -1, -4, and I will choose +2, -4. So xy, xy, -4 minus -4 over 2 minus -1 plus positive. That's going to give me 0 over 3. Anything with 0 in the top of the fraction is 0 slope. So whether you did it mathematically or you were able to see it right from the graph, either way you're going to get 0 slope. In number 6 I have 0, 8, and I have -3, 8. So 8 minus 8 over 0 minus -3. You're going to see the same thing happen in this problem. I'm going to end up with 0 over 3 again for 0 slope. It's not always going to be 0 over 3. It can be 0 over any number. As long as the 0 is in the top of the fraction, you're going to end up with 0 slope. So now we have two word problems. Hiker. And the hiker has to choose between two mountain trails. We have Trail A and Trail B. Trail A, Trail B. Remember that slope is also rise over run. Rise over run. So path A rises 20 feet and has a horizontal distance of 60 feet. So it's 20 over 60. That will reduce down to 1/3. Trail B, on the other hand, has 25 feet over 50, which will reduce down to 1/2. When you compare the two fractions, it wanted to know which one is less steep. We want to avoid the steeper trails. 1/3 is actually steeper than 1/2. So the hiker should take Trail B. And then it says explain using math why you chose the trail you did. You would want to talk about how slope is rise over run. So Trail A has a slope of 20 over 60, which reduces to 1/3. Trail B ends up having a slope of 25 over 50, which reduces to 1/2. You were then able to compare the fractions of 1/3 and 1/2. 1/2 ending up being less steep than the 1/3. But you have to talk about the rise over run. You would have to talk about how you simplified the fractions down. And then you would also need to mention how you compared those fractions. So those three pieces would all need to be a part of that. Problem 8. Looks kind of big and menacing, but it's really not that bad. So we have some information down here. I want to know the change in attendance between weeks 1 and 4. So we're going to start there, and I'm going to label them A and B again. So A, we have 1, 124, and we have 4, 232. So 232 minus 124 over 4 minus 1. Go to plus the opposite. 232 minus 124. So I have 108 over 3. You're actually going to divide that out, and you're going to see that the change in attendance was about 36 people. Okay, so each week it increased by about 36 people is what that's talking about. Then it wants us to look at the change in attendance for weeks 4 through 6. Oh, I wanted to change to red. So B, we're looking at 4 and 6. So 232 minus 204 232, yep, minus 204, and then over 4 minus 6, 232 minus 204, I get 28 over negative 2, or negative 14 people. You actually can't have negative 14 people, but that was the change in the attendance. So the attendance actually went down by 14 people each week in between weeks 4 and 6. The last part says to explain the change that you noticed between the attendance for weeks 1 through 4 and the attendance for weeks 4 through 6. 1 through 4, you should have noticed that there was an increase in people. There were more people coming to see this theater performance every week, roughly about 36 people. Whereas between weeks 4 through 6, and even if you look down at 10, you can see that the attendance is starting to decrease. They're starting to have less people attend their performance. And actually, something happened here between week 6 and weeks 10, because that's a pretty large drop-off for only 2 weeks, so maybe it snowed one night or something. Anyway, that's our lesson on slope and applying slope. I hope it went well for you. If you have any questions on anything about slope or any of the other units we've looked at so far, please make sure you stop in and see me.